Hey guys, welcome back to Hike Oregon. In today's video I'm going to talk about 6 winter must-haves that you may or may not think about. If you are new to winter hiking and just want to learn more about it, I do have a ton of winter hiking videos and I will link all of those below. In today's video, I'm going to talk about some things that I have found very useful over the years of winter hiking that I have done. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is a hat. And I know that is like super obvious, and why would that be in this particular video? I wanted to mention it because it's not your average hat that you think of when hiking. So in the past, I have worn beanies and knit hats, wool hats, even, you know, synthetic hats with like a fleece lining and that kind of thing, and they have all worked great. One of my favorite things to wear is those headbands that just cover your ears, because a lot of the time I wear a bun and so hats don't really work well for me. But again, I also just haven't found a hat that really works. A lot of the time there is still wind and stuff that comes through and makes me really cold. So I did find this awesome beanie. It is a Goose down beanie by First Design, and I have been loving this. I have worn it on every single hike since I got it just a couple months ago, and I have loved this piece of gear. It is an absolute must-have. It really keeps the wind out. This specific material that it's made out of is super awesome. It's very much like wearing the hood of your puffy coat. However, I find that when I wear my hood, it's hard for me to hear things. You know, I'm talking to friends who may or may not be hiking behind me, and it's really hard to hear. You also can't turn your head very much because the hood is right there. So if you turn, you're looking at your hood. So your field of vision is narrowed a little bit. So this is just like wearing your hood, except better, because you have your whole field of vision, you can hear. This again is made by First Design. They are an awesome company, and they actually work with SOS Outreach. SOS Outreach helps at-risk youth get out in the woods, camping, backpacking, hiking, and this company donates substantial gear, money, and time to SOS Outreach, and I think that is so awesome. I will link this hat below. It is Goose down, and it actually comes in many colors and 2 different sizes. The next thing I want to talk about is gaiters. You may or may not think about gaiters just because a lot of people have waterproof pants that go over their like long underwear or their smart wool leggings. So you may or may not think that gaiters are necessary, but I have found that even when I wear my waterproof shell pants, I still sometimes get snow in my boots, unfortunately. If you are stepping really deep in the snow, the pants come up, the snow just goes right into your boots. So gaiters are super important. I have mine right here. They're Mountain Hardwear. These are my favorite gaiters. I've tried quite a few gaiters and they just don't work with my calves. I have really big calves, so these ones worked the best, and they're actually one of the least expensive gaiters that I have found too. They are really simple design. They are super waterproof, obviously. The Velcro is just like super adhesive, and I really like the pull tab so that it keeps it snug right above your calf and they don't fall down, which is really awesome. The next thing I want to mention are micro spikes. I have hiked so many times in just my boots where I am slipping and sliding all over the place. I finally got some micro spikes and they have helped a lot. So I have actually 2 different pairs of micro spikes, and I'll show you the difference here. So these are yak tracks. Basically they just look like this. They have really small, I wouldn't even really call them spikes. They're more like what you would find on studded tires, and there's 7 of them. And you just basically like put this around your shoe and then you have a little extra traction. These ones are really good for if there is some ice on the road and you're, you know, walking around, let's say going to like a park or something, but it's really icy, or if you're just hiking where it's like really groomed, smooth trail, but it's very icy. And then I have some Catula bikes as well, and these are definitely more heavy duty, and they look like this. So these are actual spikes, as you can see. These are definitely more for like if you were to summit a mountain early in the morning and the snow is still frozen. These are perfect. You will just walk right up that mountain. You will not slip. They really just grab the ice and snow. So if it's really icy snow, these are amazing. And these are really, really good for if you are walking on like a thick layer of ice. A few weeks ago, I was at a waterfall that was frozen, and the waterfall, of course, creates spray. So the surrounding area of the waterfall was entirely frozen. There's probably 2 inches of ice just coating everything, the rocks, the roots, the trail, the down trees, and everything like that. So it was really difficult to navigate, and these make it so that you can walk on something like that with 0 issues. You are not slipping, you are not sliding, you feel 100% secure. Next, I wanted to mention hot hands. My hands are freezing even just right now, and they get so cold when I'm hiking, even when I'm wearing gloves. I take a lot of photos. My hands aren't in my pockets to keep them warm. And even with gloves, my hands are freezing. So hot hands are super helpful in this kind of situation. You can actually get a big box of these at Costco, and it makes it very cost effective. These come with 2, so 1 for each hand, and then you just open them and you can stick them in your gloves, keep your hands warm, or you can have these in your pockets. They also make ones that have adhesive on the backs. You could stick them to your body, you could stick them to your socks, keep your feet warm. So these are so handy for hiking in the winter. The next thing I'm going to talk about is my favorite piece of gear, pretty much always, summer, winter, whenever, but I have hiked with a lot of people that didn't have one, and when we sit down for lunch, they're like, where do I sit? Because here in the winter in the Pacific Northwest, everything is wet, everything is cold. So even if you have a rain jacket and you put it down on a log to sit on, it's still gonna be very cold, and it will suck the heat right out of you, especially when you're sitting down during a winter hike. You can get cold really, really quick. So this is my favorite piece of gear of all time. This is the Z-Sit made by Thermo Rest, and it is so handy. It's just this little tiny pad, and I absolutely love it. So then you just unfold it and you can put it down on a log, on a rock. Doesn't matter if it's wet or in the snow. I've sat in the snow in this, and it does insulate. So that is the awesome part of this, is that you not only stay dry, but it's insulating you from the cold, wet rocks and snow or whatever you may be sitting on. And last but not least, a trick that I have for winter hiking and staying warm is putting hot water in your water bladder. Now, you can't put boiling water in your water bladder because it is made of rubber, so it may or may not melt. It's not meant for boiling water, but you can definitely put hot tap water in it, and that makes a huge difference for me when I'm hiking, because I personally don't like drinking cold water when I'm already cold. So I will basically not drink if my water is cold. So putting some hot water in your water bladder is a wonderful trick. But then how does it stay warm, right? You're hiking in, let's say, 25-degree weather. It's gonna cool down pretty quickly. So there is an awesome trick. And if you're familiar with making a pot cozy for backpacking, it's basically the same thing except for your water bladder. So all you have to do is take some Reflectix. This is a huge roll of Reflectix. You can just go to your local hardware store and get some of this. You don't have to get like a huge roll of it, but you can get yourself some of this. It It does kind of feel like bubble wrap, so all you have to do is basically make yourself a pouch and size it to your water bladder. After that, you just put your hot water in your bladder and your bladder in the Reflectix pouch. Put all of that in your backpack and your water will stay warm. It may not be hot, you know, like tea, but it will definitely stay warm throughout your whole day hike, which is so awesome, and it just feels so good when you sip on your water and it just goes down and it's so nice and warm. So that is a huge trick, and I have found that I drink so much more water during the winter when it is warm. And if you're really hiking or snowshoeing or even skiing and snowboarding in super cold weather, like below freezing, you can also, out of the Reflectix, you can make a little koozie for your hose, because I have found that in super cold weather, if you don't drink often enough, your hose can freeze and then you can't get water out of your water bladder. So that's also something to think about, is making some sort of insulative sleeve for your hose. But if you drink often enough, that shouldn't freeze even in super cold conditions. Thank you so much for watching this quick video. I hope this gave you guys some ideas for things to get for hiking in the winter that you may not have thought about before. If you have any questions or if you have any winter hacks, please comment them below. I do a lot of winter hiking, so if you're interested in seeing my pictures from winter hikes, go check me out over on Instagram. And if you're interested in hiking or backpacking here in this wonderful state of Oregon, go check out my website, hikeoregon.net, and you'll find so much information on hiking in the area. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next adventure.